I'd like to welcome you to DMV Line Upon Line. I am Elder Pittman. Today's teaching will be They Know the Truth. They know the truth. Did God choose a people unto himself? If so, what happened to them? Are they still around today? Has God changed his mind? Are the people who inhabit the so-called land of Israel today imposters? And if so, who are they? Or do they know if they are perpetrating a lie? In this teaching, using the precepts of the 1611 King James Bible with the Apocrypha, we will find the answer to many of these questions. Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 2. For thou art an holy people unto the Spirit thy God, including the Spirit of God has chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, above all the nations that are upon the earth. So here we see that the Most High God has chosen a people. So we know that there is a nation of people that God has chosen. For thou art an holy people. Thou art an separated apart people. Thou art a set apart people unto the Lord thy God. Why? Because he has appointed these people to be a peculiar people, to be his own possession above all the nations that are upon the earth. So we know he has chosen and set apart a people. He has appointed a people unto himself. So we have to find out who these people are as we move on. Let's take a look at Deuteronomy chapter 7, and let's look at verse 2. Including when the Spirit thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them. So we see here in this particular verse that whoever these people are that he has set apart unto himself, he does not want these people to make a covenant with the people where they are located. He don't want us to show mercy upon them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Okay? Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Verse 4, for they will turn away the son from following me. So whomever these people are, the people that God has chosen unto himself, he does not want them making an agreement. He does not want them entering into a marriage agreement. And the reason why, those people will cause us to turn away from the Most High God. Those people, they will introduce the ones that the Most High God has set apart for himself. They will introduce them to idols, to other gods. And if these people that God has chosen unto himself, if they marry, if they make a covenant with those people, the Most High God said, this will anger him. So will the anger of the Spirit of God be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. This is serious. We know that the Most High God, again, has separated a people unto himself. He has appointed them, and they are his possession. Keep that in mind. Exodus 19:5. Now, for that reason, if ye will obey my voice, indeed, if ye will observe, if ye will follow my voice, my instruction. Now, therefore, if ye will observe my instruction, indeed, including keep my covenant, keep my established agreement, then ye shall be a peculiar, then ye shall be God's own possession. You shall be a peculiar treasure. You shall be a what? A peculiar jewel. Okay? Ye shall be separated unto the knowledge of God. You shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. So we see the Most High is talking to someone. He's talking to a people that he has set apart unto himself. And these people, in 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 20, for ye are bought with a price. Understand, remember, Exodus called these people, they shall be a peculiar treasure. Paul here writes and says, for ye are bought with a price. These people. They're bought with a price. For that reason, glorify God in your bodies. Okay? Including in your spirit, which are God's. Clear. These two verses, Exodus 19:5 and 1 Corinthians 6:20, lets us know that there is a people that God has separated unto himself, that he has given them knowledge, and that they are his peculiar possession. Okay? So we need to find out who these people are, because there is a group of people. There is a nation of people also proclaiming that they are God's chosen people. Genesis 32:24. Including Jacob was left alone. Including there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. Now, I want to be perfectly clear. And I want everyone that is listening and hear this teaching that Jacob did not wrestle with God. Okay? The text clearly lets us know that Jacob wrestled with a man. Now, the reason why Jacob did not wrestle with God, let's look at what Moses said. Numbers 23:19. God is not a man that he should lie. Okay. So we have a tendency that we want to put God, who is spirit, down to our level and declare that he is a man just like us. Let's look at verse 26 of Genesis 32. And he said, let me go. And the man said, let me go, for the day breaketh. Including, he said, I will not let thee go. Jacob said, I will not let thee go except thou bless me. Okay? So whatever was going on, Jacob is saying, I will not let you go until you give me understanding to what is going on. And that's what we have to be clear of. We must have clear understanding and know who these people are that God set apart unto himself. So we see Jacob, his name means supplant or supplanter. Okay? So we know that Jacob was in the flesh. And his name means supplanter or supplant. Okay? Let's go on. So Jacob asked the man to bless him. In other words, to give him understanding so that he can learn of whatever is happening. Verse 27. Including, he said unto him, what is thy name? And he said, Jacob. So the man asked Jacob what his name was. Jacob told him. Verse 28. Including, he said, this is the man, thy name shall be called no more Jacob. Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, basically according to the flesh. Understand what's going on. A switch has happened. But Israel. Jacob is now, and his lineage is now Yahweh's servant. Okay? So we must understand what's going on. All right? Understand that Jacob did not wrestle with God. Okay? So you remember that the Most High has what? chosen a people unto himself. So let's look at Psalms 135 and verse 4. For the Spirit of God has chosen who? Jacob unto himself, including Israel. So we see the silhouette, Jacob, and we see the spiritual flip, Israel, for his peculiar, for his own possession, for his peculiar treasure, for his peculiar jewel. Separation of knowledge. Okay, that means these people that's tied to Jacob, that is now called Israel, is separated and will be learning the knowledge of the Most High God. Okay? We also see that the name Israel is not a land. All right? Keep that in your thought. Israel is not a land. 1 Kings chapter 8 and verse 53. Watch this. For thou didst separate them from among all the people of the earth, to be thine inheritance. Okay? So the Most High separate these people unto himself, separate Israel unto himself, separated the lineage of Jacob unto himself, to be his inheritance. Okay? For them to receive eternal life in Yahweh. Okay? As thou spake by the power of Moses, thy servant, when thou broughtest our fathers out of bondage, O Creator God. You know what's going on. The Most High brought these people, brought Israel, brought his peculiar treasure out of confusion unto himself. All right? Jeremiah 29 and verse 4. Thus said the Spirit of hosts, the God of Israel, the God of Yahweh's servants, all right, unto all that are carried away captive. These people that God chose unto himself was disobedient, and they were carried away captive. They was carried away. They was carried away unto a nation of people that would treat them with great cruelty, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem. Now watch this, y'all. It is the Most High God. He said, I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon, unto bondage. Understand. That applies right up unto today. All right? So we know everything was predicated on the people, Israel, who he chose unto himself to be obedient. All right? Zechariah chapter 7 and verse 14. For that reason, it is come to pass that as he cried, including they would not hear, so they cried, and I would not hear, says the Spirit of hosts. So the Most High, he called out a people. He cried unto the people. He gave them his word. He gave them his spirit. He had called out unto them. But they would not listen. Israel would not listen. Okay? So when Israel, when his peculiar treasure called out unto him, called out unto Yahweh, notice what Yahweh said. I would not hear. I would not listen, said the Spirit of hosts. So if we want to walk contrary to God, he's going to walk contrary to us. Israel. Verse 14. Notice what God said he did. But I scattered, I dispersed, I removed them to a distance. Okay? From each other. Understand, we was plucked up out of Jerusalem. Right up to the day, we are scattered to a distance from Jerusalem. We have been dispersed by God with a whirlwind. We have been scattered, dispersed by God with a violent whirlwind among all the nations whom they knew not, whom we knew not. Thus the land was desolate after them. So once we was plucked up and kicked out and taken out, Jerusalem, Israel became desolate. It became ruined. The place where God's name is in ruin. So in other words, no one should be there. Because the nation that he kicked out is still dispersed. We got to understand that, okay? That no man passes through nor return. Understand here. So if no man has returned, then we got a problem today. The problem is, there is a nation of people that has occupied the land. Okay? It's a problem. So let us move on. Let's look at Jeremiah chapter 7. Let's drop down to verse 23. But this thing commanded I them, saying, this is the problem that we have right up until the day. But this thing commanded I them, saying, obey my voice, obey my instruction, obey my covenant agreement, obey my what? agreement that we have agreed to. Obey my instruction, including, and if you do that, I will be your God. Including you shall be my people. Remember earlier, he chose a people unto himself. Okay? We shall be his people. Now he said, including walk ye in all the ways that I have commanded you. We cannot pick and choose. Willie cannot pick and choose what he wants to walk in. Okay? That's the problem with Israel, is that we want to walk according to or by the way that we choose. We have to walk in the ways of God. Why? That it may be well unto you, that it may be well unto Willie, that it may be well unto, put your name there. Verse 24. But they hearken not. Don't you remember the time that you didn't listen? But Willie hearkened, Willie didn't listen, nor incline their ear. They didn't open their ear to understanding, but walked in the advice, including in the imagination. Just want you to listen and think about it. But walk in the counsel, including in the imagination of their evil heart, their evil desire. Put your name there. Including went backwards, went in the other direction, and not forward. 26. Yet they listen not unto me, nor open their understanding, but harden their neck. In other words, Yahweh, we want to go our way and path. They did worse than their fathers. We have a serious problem today. We are worse in doing things than our forefathers. Verse 28. But thou shalt say unto them, this is a nation, this is a people that obeyeth not what? Not the instruction of the Spirit their guide, nor receiveth correction, nor receiveth the correction. The word of God is perished. The wisdom of God is perished, including is cut off from their mouth. Isn't that wild? The correction, excuse me, the truth, the word of God is perished. The doctrine is perished, including is cut off from their mouth. We have a problem. Deuteronomy chapter 29 and verse 28. And the Spirit of God rooted them out of their land in anger. The Spirit of God rooted Israel out of the land in wrath, in indignation, including in great indignation, including cast them into another land. Watch this. As it is this day, as this day, as it is now, we are still cast out. So there should not be a nation of people proclaiming that they are Israel that has occupied the land of Jerusalem. Okay? Isaiah 47, and let's look at verse 3. Because of our disobedience, thy nakedness, thy sins shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. Even they know how our God will act towards us if we walk naked before him. They know. Okay? That is the reason why they want to keep us in sin. And I say again, they know. I'm going to prove to you later how did they know. I will take vengeance God will pour out punishment, and I will not meet thee as a man. 4. As for our Redeemer, as for our Deliverer, the Spirit of hosts is his name, not Martin Luther King, not Rosa Parks. Okay? Stop looking for another Redeemer. The Spirit of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Understand. Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And the Spirit of God shall bring thee into bondage, into Egypt, into the house or the dwelling place of bondage. This is where we are. We are in confusion. We are in captivity, again with ships. We read in Scripture that these ships are represented by these high places, these buildings on every corner, led by the Leviathan. Okay? So we in confusion again with ships by the way. Wherefore I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more. Thou shalt see it no more again. Thou shalt see Jerusalem no more again. Including, there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. So we can know that these people that God has chosen unto himself, they know who we are. Why? Because they know the nation of people who was made bond slave, okay, who was made bondmen and bondwomen. They know. And no man shall buy them. No man, no one in mankind shall deliver, shall redeem us. So is there imposters in the land? Is there imposters in our land? Okay. Let's look at something. Revelation chapter 3 and verse 9. Remember, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan. I will make them who assemble in the temple, who are in those gathering places of Satan. I will make them of the synagogue of Satan. He's talking about those that call themselves, watch this, which say they are what? Jews, which say they are followers of Christ. Those that are in the land proclaim that they are Jews. They are followers of Christ. And, or including, watch this, are not, but do lie. They lying about who they are. These are not the people that the God of Israel have chosen. They lie. But guess what? They know. Remember, I will make them to come, including worship before thy feet, including to know that I have loved thee. I promise thee. They know that the day is coming, that the God of Israel is going to make them worship before our feet. Okay? Understand what just happened. All right? Israel, we have a problem. We have not learned our lesson. We have been scattered. Okay? So we want to take a look and we want to head towards identifying who is in our land. Genesis chapter 10 and verse 1. Now, these are the generation of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, including unto them were the sons born after the flood. Okay? The sons of Japheth, because we know Japheth was scattered. All right? So, watch this. Now, these are the generation of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, including Japheth. So we see Noah's son. Including unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, including Madai, including Javan, including Tubal, including Meshach, including Tyrus, including the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, okay, and Riphath, and Togarmah, And the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, including Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided into their lands, one after his tongue, after their families, in their nation. So remember this. All right? Understand. This is the lineage of Japheth. All right? And he's scattered. He was sent to the isles of the Gentiles. And this is where they divided the land. All right? Each after their own tongue and families. All right? Just keep that thought there. Genesis 9:27. God shall enlarge Japheth. And this ain't, see, Christian would tell you that he's going to enlarge a possession of land and material things. But the word enlarge in Paleo Hebrew is pethah, which means God shall persuade, God shall deceive Japheth. Okay? Including he shall dwell in the tents of Shem. Understand? Including Canaan shall be his servant. All right, so we see that the Most High God is going to deceive Japheth. And for you people that don't believe that God will deceive a person, that God will persuade individuals that are disobedient, we can look at 1 Kings 22 and verse 23. Now, for that reason, remember, the Spirit of God has put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets. All these leaders and pastors and those that are in those church building, God has put a lying spirit in thy mouth of all thy prophets, including the Spirit of God has spoken evil concerning thee. Don't tell me what God won't do based on our fleshly understanding, okay? That's Old Testament, okay? Because we know God changed things. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 11. Including for this cause Yahweh shall send them, see that shows you plurality, strong delusion, false representation. Yahweh shall send deception. He shall send a misleading of the mind and imaginations. Why? That they should believe a lie. That they should be persuaded to believe false doctrine and teachings and walk in false ways. That's what's happening to Israel today. Remember, Israel is a people and not a land. All right? Second Samuel 7:48. I will be his father, and he shall be my son if he commit acts of sin. Look what the Most High would say that he will do to us if we walk and commit acts of sins. I will chasten, I will discipline, I will correct him with the rod, with the correction of men. Did you catch that? Including with the stripes, the hits or attack, okay, of the children of men. They will come at us with violence. The Most High God will use men to discipline Israel. Okay? So we have to understand that the Most High God has chosen a people, one. All right? Watch this. 2nd Ezra, chapter 5, verse and 27. Including among all the multitudes of the people, thou hast gotten thee one people, one nation, one people. All right? Not don't come with one nation under God. No. This nation, this United States is not under God. Understand. The Most High has gotten one people, not every nation, including unto this people whom thou lovest, whom thou promised. Thou gave a law. Okay? He gave this one people, this one nation, a law because he loveth them. He promised them. Okay? Thou gave a law that is approved, that has been agreed upon of all. So we agreed. Okay? But understand, he chose one people. Watch this. Hear, O Israel, the Spirit, our guide, is one Spirit, one Lord. Okay? So that one people represent a silhouette of the one God of Israel. Mark 12:29. And Yahushua answered him, the first of all the commandments is, listen, O Yahweh's servants. The Creator, our God, is one Creator. Understand? All right? Exodus 19 and verse 8. This is the promise that we said, including all the people, including all Israel answered together, including said, this include us too today, all that the Spirit of God has spoken, we will do. Willie will do. Put your name there. Including Moses returned the words of the people unto the Spirit of God. See, we can't get out of our own way because of our disobedience. All right? We want to do it our way. This is not Burger King. Let's go back and let's look at and revisit Genesis chapter 10, and let's look at verse 1. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, including Japheth. Pay attention. Including unto them were sons born after the flood. Jump down to verse 5. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families in their nations. So we see again. Now watch this. This is a map where the descendants of Japheth down in the blue-green section. And if you look on the map, it gives you an idea or indication of how Japheth lineage was spread out. Okay? But also, there's another word that pops up, Ashkenaz. It's important that we understand who is Ashkenaz. They're in the lineage of Japheth. So who occupies Israel today? Think about it. Let's take a look. Uncovering ancient Ashkenaz, the birthplace of Yiddish speakers. Pay attention, because when we deal with Hebrew today, this is the Hebrew that's being taught, not Paleo. Yiddish is what being taught. Did Ashkenazi Jews descend from ancient Turkey? Turkey. And I say again, Turkey. Okay? At 1,000 years, the search for the location of Ashkenaz, thought to be a birthplace of Ashkenazic Jews, and the Yiddish language is one of the longest quests in human history. It is perhaps second only in length to the search for Noah's Ark, which began in the 3rd century AD. Let us move on. The place name Ashkenaz occurs 3 times in the Bible, but by the Middle Ages, the exact origin of Ashkenaz was forgotten. Because of the migration of the Ashkenazic Jews, it later became associated with Germany. Okay? Listen, so we got Turkey, we got Germany. This led to all German Jews being considered Ashkenazic. So we see a merger happening. And remember, the map also shows how Japheth lineage spread amongst the Isles of the Gentiles. All right? This led to all German Jews being considered Ashkenazic, a term which was then applied to Central, including Eastern European Jews, who follow Ashkenazic religious customs, religious manners, and who speak Yiddish. Okay? So we find Ashkenaz also in Genesis 10:3, 1 Chronicles chapter 1 verse 6, and Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 27. Okay? The Yiddish language, which consists of Hebrew, German, Slavic elements and is written in Aramaic, has been spoken at least since the 9th century AD. But its origin have been debated by linguists for several centuries. While some have suggested a German origin, others believe a more complex beginning for the language. Starting in Slavic lands in Khazaria, the Middle Age Khazar Empire that covered present-day southern Russia. Kazakhstan, Ukraine, and parts of the Caucasus, and followed by Ukraine and finally Germany. Although the language adopted a German vocabulary, it retained its Slavic grammar, which is why Yiddish is often referred to as bad German. So your Yiddish Hebrew that you claim that you are learning is bad. The inability of linguists to reach a consensus have led some to decry that the mystery of where Yiddish came from will never be solved. They're not going to solve it anyway because they don't want us to know the actual truth. But now, for the first time, a pioneering tool that converts genome data in ancestral coordinates is helping to pinpoint the DNA of Yiddish speakers. Okay? In the largest genomic study of Ashkenazic Jews, and the first one to study Yiddish speakers, were applied our geographic population structure tools. Okay, they call it a GPS, which operates in a similar way to the SAT nav in your car, or the SAT navigation system in our cars today, to the genomes of more than 360 Yiddish and non-Yiddish speaking Ashkenazic Jews. Surprisingly, our GPS homed in on northeast Turkey. Japheth was scattered to the isles of the Gentiles. Where we found 4 primeval villages. So in northeast Turkey is where they found 4 primeval villages, one of which was abandoned in the mid-7th century AD. These ancient villages, identified by the GPS tool, are clustered close to the Silk Road, the ancient network of trade routes, and are named Ishkenaz, Ashnaz, and Ashkaz. And it is likely that these are the villages that mark the location of the lost land of Ashkenaz. Think about it. Let's look at the history of these people. The history of a people located on the crossroad of the ancient trade routes, which was known as the Silk Road. This region suggests that the Yiddish language was developed by Iranian and Ashkenazic Jews as they trade on the Silk Road from the 1st century AD
to around the 9th century when they arrived in Slavic land. Putting together evidence from linguistic history and genetics, we concluded that the ancient Ashkenazic Jews were merchants who developed Yiddish as a secret language, with 251 words for buy and sell. To maintain their monopoly, they were known to trade in everything from fur to slaves. And if you know the history of one of the sons of Japheth lineage, you'll find out how they were involved in slave trading. By the 8th century, the words Jews and merchant were practically synonymous. And it was around this time the Ashkenazic Jews began relocating. The Ashkenazic Jews began relocating from ancient Ashkenaz to the Khazar Empire, or the Khazar Empire, to expand their mercantile operation. Okay? Listen, just a little bit more. This Jewish migration led to some of the Turkic Khazar rulers and numerous Eastern Slavs living within the Khazar Empire to convert to Judaism, so they didn't miss out on the lucrative Silk Road trade between Germany and China. But the demise of Khazar due to continued invasion and finally the Black Death devastated this last Jewish empire of Khazar. This led to Ashkenazic Jews splitting into two groups. Wow. Kind of remind you of Israel, the northern and southern kingdom. Some remaining in the Caucasus and others migrating into Eastern Europe and Germany. The two groups still called themselves Ashkenazic Jews. However, the name Ashkenaz became more strongly associated with Germany and the European group, for whom Yiddish became their primary language. All right? So let's take a look at a secret language. Since northeast Turkey is the only place in the world since northeast Turkey is the only place in the world where the place names of Ishkenaz, Ashkenaz, Ashkenaz, and Ashkuz exist, this strongly implies that Yiddish was established around the first millennium at a time when Jewish traders moved goods from Asia to Europe. This was done by developing the language of Yiddish, which very few can speak or understand other than Jews. Excuse me. Further evidence to the origin of Ashkenazic Jews can be found in many customs, excuse me, such as the breaking of a glass at a wedding ceremony and placing stones over tombstones, which were probably introduced by Slavic converts to Judaism. By studying the origin of Yiddish using our GPS technology, combined with a citizen science approach, we were able to shed light on one of the most forgotten chapters of history and demonstrate the use of biographical genetic tools to study the origin of languages. For Ashkenazic Jews, these are the ties that binds their history, culture, behavior, and identity. Okay? So this is what the article was talking about, the 4 villages that was in Turkey: Ishkenaz, Ashkenaz, Ashnaz, and Ashchuz. Okay? This is up in the in Turkey, the Caucasus Mountains. All right? Also, this is just a carving of 2 Jewish merchants in medieval dress. Okay? So I put this there so that you can kind of look at their feature. Something that make you go, they don't look Hebrewish. They don't look like Hebrews. They don't look like the people that the Most High God chose. Now watch what happened, and this is why we have the uproar today. What is going on with Kyrie Irving, as many continue to condemn him for what he posted. This is what's going on. Psalms 83, verse 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult. Thy enemies is causing confusion. They causing an uproar today. Okay? They causing those of us who stick with Scripture, they would tell us that we are anti-Semitic. All right? In other words, we are prejudiced against Jewish people. Now understand, ISH means acting in a character of another. Acting like someone or acting like a nation of people which you are not. Okay? Including they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have lifted up their desire, okay, to destroy us, to destroy the chosen people that has been set apart. God's people is in captivity. They know that we are in captivity. This is the reason why, if we come out to present the truth, a great swell and uproar sticks out or raises its head. Look at verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel. They have taken crafty direction against what Kyrie Irving posted. Okay? They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, including consulted against thy hidden ones. They have planned against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, including, let us cut them off from being a nation. And we're going to see how they did that, because their plan is to cut us off from being a nation. How do I know? What nation? That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. This is their plot. This is their uproar. This is how they cause confusion. This is their insurrection. So that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Watch this, verse 5. For they have consulted, they have planned, they have advised together with one consent. Okay? With one agreement. With the agreement of their mind against thee. Okay? They are confederate. They are united in a league. That's why you see the complaints about Kyrie is coming from many directions, because they are in league together. All right? So this is how they try to cause us to forget who we are. Now remember what was said earlier. Watch this. 1948, May the 14th, State of Israel proclaimed. Okay? Look what the U.S. did. U.S. recognition of the State of Israel at midnight on May the 14th, 1948. They proclaimed Israel as a new state. Okay? President Truman. Okay? Recognized the provisional Jewish acting like a nation of people, which they are not. Truman recognized the Jewish government, okay? So they have taken the name of a people and made it a land, okay? They have became a nation in one day. Watch this. Isaiah 66:8. Who has heard such a thing? Who has seen such a thing? How in the world can a nation of people be born in one day? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day? Was the earth made in one day? Or shall a nation be born at once? I think we know the answer to that. For as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children. Okay? So we see what happened in Jerusalem and what they have changed Israel into a land, the name of Israel into a land. Okay? They know who we are. They know who the chosen people of Yahweh is. Okay? Let's tiptoe Judith, chapter 5, and let's go up to verse 1. Then was it declared to Holofernes, the chief captain of the army of Asher, that the children of Israel had prepared for war, including had shut up the passages of the hill country, and had fortified all the tops of the high hills, and had laid impediments in the campaign country. Verse 5, drop to verse 5. Okay? Now watch this. Then says Achor, who was the captain of all the sons of Ammon. So Israel is up in the mountains, and they have fortified their stronghold up there, preparing for war. So Achor, the captain of all the sons of Ammon, let my Lord now hear. This is what he told his leader, his master, his ruler. Listen, let my Lord now hear a word from the mouth of thy servant, and I will declare unto thee the truth concerning this people, the truth concerning Israel, which dwelleth near thee, including inhabiteth the hill countries, and there shall no lie come out of the mouth of thy servant. As I said, they know. Now here we got Achor. He's getting ready to let his Lord know about Israel, the people that was up in the mountains. Verse 6. This people are descended of the Chaldeans. We are the descendants of the Chaldeans. Verse 7. Including they sojourned heretofore in Mesopotamia, because they would not follow the gods of their fathers, in which we know that the Most High God is continuing to tell us today. Do not follow after the gods of your fathers or your forefathers, which were in the land of Chaldea. Verse 8. For they left the way of their ancestors, including worship the God of heaven, the God whom they knew. So Israel knew who their God was. So they cast them out from the face of their gods, and they fled into Mesopotamia and sojourned there many days. Verse 9. Then their God commanded them to depart from the place where they sojourned and to go into the land of Canaan, even though it's spelt different, where they dwelt and were increased with gold and silver and with very much cattle. That has a spiritual understanding as well. Verse 10. But when a famine covered all the land of Canaan, they went down into Egypt and sojourned there, while they were nourished and became there a great multitude, so that one could not number their nation. Verse 11. Therefore, for that reason, the king of Egypt, the king of bondage, the king of confusion, rose up against them and dealt subtilely with them, and brought them low with laboring in brick, and made them slaves. They know who we are. Okay? Now, we may not be in chains and shackles today, but we are still in bondage. We are still bondmen and bondwomen. Okay? So it hasn't stopped yet. So now let us move on. Let us go down to verse 17. Including, while they sinned not before their God, they prospered, because the God that hateth acts of sin was with them. Understand, Israel, when we don't sin, the Most High God is with us. They know. Verse 18. But when they departed from the way which is appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs. Doesn't that sound familiar today? We are not in our land. We are in the land of our captives. And the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies. Verse 19. But now are they returned to their God and are come up from places where they were scattered. See, when we become obedient, then the Most High God will pull us from the places that we are scattered, and this is what will happen, and have possessed Jerusalem. We will return back to Jerusalem. We are not there, even up to today. So who are these people in Jerusalem today? Ashkenaz Jews. Or now they want to say Israeli Jews. Okay? Where their sanctuary is and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Letting you know Jerusalem is desolate, or was desolate. Now that for that reason, my Lord and Governor, if there be an error against this people and they sin against their God, let us consider. See, now they, if we in sin, they already know that they can conquer us. Let us consider that this shall be their ruin. Let us go up, and we shall overcome them. But if there be no iniquity, no act of sin in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Creator defend them. All we have to do is return back to the Most High God, and He will defend us. Okay? Including their God be for them. Including we become a reproach. We become a disgrace, a shame before all the world. Okay? So we have to become obedient so that the Most High God can bring us from being scattered back into being a nation in our homeland. All right? Jeremiah 51, verse 24. And I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion, they have done to Israel in your sight, says the Spirit of God. Remember, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, says the Spirit of God, which destroyeth all the earth. And I will stretch out my hand unto thee, and roll these down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain. And they shall take of thee a stone for a corner, nor a stone for foundation, but thou shalt be desolate forever, says the Spirit of God. Verse 27. Set ye up a standard in the land. Blow the trumpet, warn. Sound the alarm among the nations. Prepare the nations against her. Call together against her the kingdoms of Ararat. Okay? Many and Ashkenaz. The Most High God is against Ararat, against many and Ashkenaz. Appoint a captain against her. Cause the horses to come up as the rough caterpillar, as a roe caterpillar. Okay? Understand. Let's move on. Zechariah 9:6. Here's the problem. These Ashkenaz Jews, these Jewish people, are a mixed people. And we see the origin. We see how they mix with Germans and other nations. This is the reason why Japheth was kicked to the isles of the Gentiles. And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. So we're going to find out who's in Israel. Including a bastard, a mixed seed, dwell in Ashdod. And I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. Okay? These bastards are mixed. They are offsprings of Gentiles. Deuteronomy 23:2. A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Spirit of God, even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Spirit of God. The Most High is not going to have any mixed breeds. Okay? Israel, he's not going to have mixed doctrine in the congregation. Okay? So when we take a look at this map, we can see Ashdod. And you see the arrow pointing to Israel. Okay? So who's in the land of Ashdod? Who's in the land of Israel? Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 11. For that reason, even unto the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation. This is not good. Because in the creature of God, of Yahweh, they are become an abomination. They have become and most hated by God, including stumbling blocks to the souls of men and a snare to the feet of the unwise. So let's revisit again. Genesis 10, chapter 1, and go through verse 5. Watch this. Now these are the generation of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Okay? He's in the Isles of the Gentiles. And unto them were sons born after the flood, the sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tyrus. Watch this. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz. Okay? Verse 5. By these were the isles. By these were the ignorance, the folly of the heathens. This is what Gentiles are. Folly of the heathen. Okay? The ignorance of the heathen divided in their land. Every one after his tongue, after their family, and their nations. Wisdom of Solomon. Let's go down to verse 16. Thus, in the process of time, an ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law. Pay attention to that. And including graven images where worship was given respect by the commandments of kings. Okay, we have people in prominent places that gives us laws that is contrary to the word of God, and many of us indulge in them. We keep them. Verse 17. Whom men could not honor in present, because they dwelt afar off. They dwelt far off. They took the counterfeit of his visage from afar, and made an express image of a king whom they honored. Okay? Today we make images of our leaders that are in the forbidden places, to the end that by their forwardness, their ignorant, they might flatter him that was absent, as if he were present. Okay? So we see what was going on with these Gentiles. Okay? With these Ashkenaz Jews. All right? So let us move up to verse 14. For by the vainglory of men they enter into the world. And for that reason shall they come shortly to an end. This is coming to an end. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, watch this, which he has made an image of this child, soon taken away, now honor him as a God, which was then a dead man. Now, I can hear it now. I never worship another God. I never honor a man as a God. Watch this. And delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifice. Yeah, we performed ceremonies and gave sacrifices. Okay? We're going to move on, but we're going to find out. Remember, a dead man we worship and served as a God. Jeremiah 10:2. Why? Thus says the Spirit of God, learn not the way of the heathen, learn not the path. We will walk in the way, in the path of heathens. We want to walk in the ways and the path of the Gentiles, who are devils and unrighteous, including be not amazed at the signs of heaven, for the heathens, for the Gentiles are dismayed at them. Okay? So, we should be on point now, and we should understand what is going on. Don't forget, each and every one that's listening right now, Paul want to tell you something. 1 Corinthians 12:2. Ye know that ye were Gentiles. Ye know ye were acting as Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, unto their dumb idols, even as ye were led. Let you know you was led away. You was carried. You was led away. We were carried, led away. Willie was carried, led away. Okay? Unto the idols of the Gentiles. No, I wasn't. I ain't that stupid. I wouldn't do that. Well, let me rock your boat right now. A lot of Israel was led unto this guy, Caesar Borgia, or Borgia. This is who the Jesus Christ image that many of us followed and had plastic on our walls in our dwellings. Okay? So let us look at something, just a little bit of history on Caesar Borgia. Caesar Borgia, born 13 September 1475 or April 1476 through 12 March 1507. Duke of Valentino, was an Italian nobleman, politician, and cardinal. He was the son of Borgia, who later became Pope Alexander the Sixth, and his long-term mistress, Venozia di Catania. Caesar Borgia is mentioned in several books, one entitled Triptychs of Pioneers, and another entitled Caesar Borgia, His Life and Times, by Sarah Bradford. In the original King James Version of the Holy Bible, 1611 had the Apocrypha. So the 1611 had the Apocrypha, hidden books in it. But in 1928, under the Vatican, they made an agreement to take 14 books out of the King James Version or the Holy Bible. Okay, this is what the article is saying. Let us move on. Why? Because the deception was written in the Apocrypha's book, Wisdom of Solomon. Okay? So in the Apocrypha, the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 15. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, which we just read, when he had made an image of his child, soon taken away, now honor him as a God, which was then a dead man. and delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifice. We went to those buildings and we honored this dead man through our ceremony, which is our worship service. And as of today, many of us are still doing it. Sometime around 1503, he employed Leonardo da Vinci as a military architect and engineer, in which him and Leonardo da Vinci became lovers. Okay, so we see what's happening to these Gentiles in homosexuality. To express his love towards Caesar, Leonardo painted many pictures of him. Caesar's father, Pope Alexander VI, under the authority of the Catholic Church, said elite, had his son's picture put up as Jesus. Had his son's picture put up as Jesus Christ in the Western world. Caesar had sex with his own sister, Lucrezia, and he killed his brother, Giovanni, in 1497. And this is the man whom the Catholic Church gave their consent to allowing his picture to be put up to portray and to deceive the whole world into thinking Jesus was European. Okay? Revelation 13:14. And deceiveth them that dwelleth in the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. See what most people didn't know. See what most people don't know is there was a competition during the time called the Renaissance period between Leonardo da Vinci and the well-known Michelangelo. Okay? We're almost through with this. Watch this. The competition was to see who could impress Pope Alexander VI by making a new image of Pope's son that would deceive the world, in which Leonardo da Vinci won the competition. Okay, this is how these Gentiles act, and we get caught up in that. Okay, let us move on. 1 Maccabees 3:48. This is how they know. This is how they know who we are. This is what they did. And laid open the book of the law. That's what these Gentiles did. And laid open the book of the law. This is the lineage of Japheth, what they did. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen, the Gentiles, had sought to paint the likeness of their images. Okay? Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 4. Here's your warning. Take ye heed, every one of his neighbor, and trust ye not in any brother. Because you know Japheth is our brother. For every brother will utterly supplant Japheth, his lineage, is going to make a switch, including every neighbor will walk with slanders. Verse 5. And they will deceive. This is why they switching now. This is why they switched and took the Apocrypha out. This is why they switch and put their own images. Okay? And they will deceive everyone, his neighbor, and will not speak the truth. And we go to these Gentiles mainly Sunday after Sunday for them to teach us. And we learn their doctrine. And here we see they will not speak the truth. They have taught their language. They have taught their tongue. They have taught their different doctrines. They have taught us their ways, their truth, and their customs. They have taught their tongue to speak lies to us, including worrying themselves to commit acts of sin. Verse 6, thy inhabitation is in the midst of deceit. Through deceit they refuse to know me, says the Spirit of God. Okay? Micah 7 and verse 3. That they may do evil with both hands earnestly. The prince asketh, and the judge asketh for a reward. Okay, these are the teachers, these are these leaders, these are these preachers, these are these pastors in these churches, and they teach for a reward. They ask for salaries, they ask for money. And the great man, and you think they are great, you think they are somebody, you think because they are your bishop, which is another stupid thing, that they are great men. And you see here, it says great man, that includes women also. He utter his mischievous desire, so they wrap it up. This is all they're going to give you. But we continue to assemble before them. Okay? Jeremiah 14:14. Then the Spirit of God said unto me, the prophets prophesy lies in my name. Isn't that what's going on today? I sent them not. The Most High sent. I didn't send them. Neither have I commanded them. Neither spake unto them. They prophesy unto you false visions and divination, witchcraft, including a thing of naught, and the deceit of their desire. For that reason, thus says the Spirit of God concerning the prophets, concerning the mouthpiece of Satan that prophesy in my name, and I sent them not. Yet they say, sword and famine shall not be in this land. By sword and famine shall those prophets be consumed, be destroyed. Okay? Jeremiah 23:16. Thus says the Spirit of hosts, listen not unto the words of the mouthpiece of Satan, that prophesy, that speak unto you. They make you vain. They speak a vision of their own desire, including not out of the mouth of the Spirit of God. Don't listen. Hebrews 13:9. Be not carried about with many, including strange doctrines. And we continue to do that. For it is a good thing that the heart be established with grace. We can't listen to these strange doctrines. We must endure this thing while we're in the land of our captives. All right? But I want you to understand this. The Most High God has not forgotten his people. The Most High God knows there are those that are in our land that call themselves Jewish, ISH, acting like a nation of people that they are not. The Most High God knows who is there. For he said, they say they are Jews, Revelation 3:9 and Revelation 2:9, and are not. Okay? But the Most High, with this last scripture, he wants us to know something. Zechariah 8, verse 7. Thus says the Spirit of hosts, remember, I will save my people. I will save Israel from the east country, including from the west country. Verse 8, including I will bring them. The Most High God is going to bring us back to where we belong. No one can do it but the Most High God. Including I will bring them back, including they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, where the name of our God is, including they shall be my people, including I will be their God, in truth, including in righteousness. All we have to do is become obedient and pay our vow. Our Redeemer is coming. But we have to get it right with God. We will continue to be persecuted when we put truth out. But don't let that stop you. Because one day the Most High God is going to bring back his people who are scattered and are obedient back to Jerusalem. That is something to look forward to. And I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want to thank you and hope that there are understandings of this teaching that can be applied to each and every one of us in our lives. With that, I want to say shalom to everyone. Shalom.